gosh. Alright. Well, welcome everybody. It's Generic Sensei here, and y'all welcome back to Tiny Bunny. Guys, my mood would probably be a lot more better, but the problem is listen. I am so disappointed about what happened because last night, I was playing Tiny Bunny because I was going to have it recorded. I was going to have it posted for you guys today. Meaning the next, whatever. Let's see. Today is Friday. Okay. I was supposed to have this video posted up Friday, but I'm recording this Friday, so tomorrow's Saturday. So when the video will actually be posted up. But I was in the middle of playing it, and right in the middle of playing it, my game crashed. Everything was gone with it. So it was like, oh my god, I was sick. I was so sick when I saw that. I said, you gotta be kidding, man. It was like, I started at like 12 in the morning and it was like going on 2, and I was like halfway through the chapter and the game just crashed and it took everything with it. So I was kind of like, you gotta be kidding me, man. So I wanted to fall out on the floor, but I said, let's not do that. I said, look, we'll just pick it back up the next day. We'll just go from there. So when we get to the part where my game crashed at, my mood will get better because now it's getting to the content I have not seen. But I'm sorry you guys won't get a genuine reaction from me because I already seen what you're about to watch, right? The first part of what you're about to watch at least. But before we jump into chapter 2 or episode 2, there was a part in episode 1 that I did not show you guys because I didn't know myself that it existed. So I replayed that part for you guys so you can see for yourselves. And then I'm going to jump in episode 2. So I recorded that part for you guys. You're going to watch that right now. And then after that recording, we're going to watch part 2. Whew. Okay. Alright, you guys. So now we're going to see. I was going to play chapter 2. But then I realized I completely missed a spot when we were playing it the first time. And before I can show you guys chapter 2, I gotta show you this part. So while I was just had a random day to myself, and I said, you know what? I want to play Tiny Bunny again and see if I can get any, if not all the trophies. So I replayed the game, and I realized that I had missed a spot when I was replaying it, and you guys look a little high there. Let's see what that does. Okay, a lot better. That's a lot better. So I was like, wait, set the television? I never set the television when I first played this. I said, there's something more to this? So when I read the trophies, they said there was a trophy to be gained by doing something with the television, and I did it. And guys, this is a huge part of the story that I feel like we need to know about before I show you guys chapter 2. So I replayed the game back up to this point, so I'm going to show you guys what happened, and then after that we'll jump into chapter 2. So let's do this. Alright, the picture finally cleared up. But the moment I rejoiced at finding that weird signal again, the TV started coughing. Announcer, he was often seen at the moment when small snowy hills were lined up on the screen, pierced with rickety crosses, and a male voice was narrating with a slow, mournful voice. It was a pitch black night at the cemetery. In that fateful dark time, little Senya met her fate at the face of a monstrous thicket dweller. Thicket dweller? I think it says thicket. The locals call him none other than the Forest Master. I froze and did my best not to move, as if by doing that I could scare away the narrator. I listened closely to his every word. The beast dealt with the helpless girl in a masterful manner. The camera panned across the snow with something black spilled over, looking for raggedy pieces of cloth that were thrown around all over the place. I didn't want to think where Senya's remains were wrapped in there, so I shut my eyes without thinking. Oof. The voice continued. Wolves are rare guests in these parts. Here's what Tamara, the old woman that lives in a nearby crypt, had to say. A close-up shot of the face of an old homeless woman, weary from life and alcohol abuse, rattled on the screen. Yes, yes, such a fearsome beastie it is, worse than the rising dead. The old woman splattered saliva all over the rectangular mic. Oh, there he is in the camera. Oh, that was kind of scary. And the stink. It's like the rest of her comparison was swallowed up by the sound of a horn. I've never felt anything like that. It was just standing there. Yes, right where you stand, boyo, and pierced me with his eyes right in the middle of the day. It was so huge, that one, with glassy eyes. Obscenities were covered by another bleep. You know, they say if this demon lays his eyes on you, it'll snatch you, but put you into his bag, and you're done. But he won't touch me. Likes me, it seems. So he even called me the devil's wench. And it's definitely true. The carnivorous monster will not touch those who fell to the level of forest beasts, going for the innocent child's blood instead. The forest master's presence is felt more and more on the outskirts of our country. Torn between believing in what was said and shrugging it away, I decided to record the remaining part of the documentary for some reason. I quickly grabbed the tape that was on top of the TV and put it into the VCR without even looking at the cover. I pressed record, turned the sound up, and paid attention to the slipping signal. It's not called the Forest Master for nothing. All the animals obey it, but be they hairy or feathery, they're all precursors for his appearance. If you hear howls in the distance, then it most likely already knows where you live. If you find animal prints all over your doorstep and birds watching you from the trees, you better hide. It's already coming for you. And if you wake up at night and see a pair of eyes in your window, then soon. Y'all, we seen eyes in our window, man. Soon. Oh my gosh, soon. 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 I got goosebumps all over my spine. The tape ended with rewinding to the beginning. The sound of rustling tape reminded me of leaves in the wind and the low howl of the beast. I woke up from my stupor and pressed the button. The VCR ejected the tape. For a moment I thought it was stained with saliva. But that was just the light from the chandelier making the black plastic glossy. And then I saw the cover. Oops, I recorded over Peter Pan. That's what I get for hurrying. It was bad enough that I ruined Olga's cartoon, but I also put this creepy stuff over it. Can't let her see this. We'll drown in tears. I snuck a glance at the door. I could hear the clatter of glass and the squeaky floorboards. Olga appeared in the door. Okay. Alright, guys. So this is pretty much the part that we left off at when we were playing Chapter 1, aka the prologue at one point. But, I guess I gotta answer that good timing. Now I can actually do what I gotta do. But yeah, you guys are alright. So now you guys see how Chapter 1, aka the prologue, looks like in a whole. And I apologize for missing it the first time, but you know, I'm going to input this in the beginning of Chapter 2 so we can just jump right in. I'm not going to waste y'all time, make this a whole separate video. We'll just add it to Chapter 2 and just go from there. So yeah, I will see you all in Chapter 2. Oh yeah. So that is pretty much what you guys missed the first time because I wasn't paying attention. But now that I got that for you guys, we saw it. Now I also want to input to you guys that when I was recording that little segment you just watched, I realized I cut my recording off too soon because the part where Olia comes back into the room and she's ready to watch Peter Pan, Anton was all like, no, let's just watch something else. And then eventually he just had to confess to tell her that he recorded that creepy stuff on the TV on her tape, but she told him he didn't have to worry about that because their dad actually took out the plastic parts that would make a recording happen, so they took it off, so now nobody can record anything over her cartoons. So Anton was like, alright, cool, I didn't mess up her video. But when they were going, when she fell asleep and he was watching the video still, it actually did record that crazy news outlet actually was on that tape. And when he pulled the videotape out of the VHS and saw that the plastic parts were indeed still on there, he's like, oh my gosh, I really did just ruin this girl's videotape. So he took the tape and he put it in his desk along with the mitten that we got when we were outside. So it's called the cursed tape. Now, what I do know about Tiny Bunny is that the choices you make in this game does affect the timeline, in a sense. So, now that we didn't do that the first time we played the prologue, but I did it again, and this time I do have the tape, so now that's definitely going to play a part into the game. I don't know what part it's going to play, but it's going to do something. So, with that being said, y'all, let's move on to episode 2 and see, so you guys can see what's going on. Like I said, I'll let you all know when we get to the part that my game crashed on. It will just be brand new content for all of us. So, new school, new teachers, and most importantly, new classmates, who I always have trouble connecting with, like most other kids with glasses probably. I forced myself to get out of my warm bed. Dad would usually drive me to my old school, but this morning the bedroom my parents was silent. Did they sleep in? Maybe it was a good thing. I didn't want to get the daddy's boy reputation from day one. My parents were probably still tucked in, dreaming about the good old days. When everything was so simple and easy. I had a hiccup coming and I stopped it. Sweet dreams, even if far removed from reality. I silently sneaked out to the first floor so I wouldn't wake up anybody, especially the peacefully sleeping old man. I did my best to step on the middle of every floorboard. I used to play like this even in our old apartment. If my soles touched the space between floorboards, it counted as stepping into lava. The clock was spurring me on with his hands. I need to hurry, faster, faster. I was too fast, so I needed to circle the hallway once again. Boiling lava was bursting out of the cracks between floorboards. I needed to watch my step, to survive at any cost. Hippity-hop like a frog jumping on molehills, like a fearful bunny in a grove full of wolves. I made a sandwich in the kitchen, shoved it down my throat, and drank it down with cold tea. My appetite was as good as if someone being led up the scaffold toward a guillotine. I lowered my gaze and saw that one of my feet was standing on 2 floorboards at the same time. Burned to a crisp, huh? I moved my foot. Disgusting little snakes withered in my belly, the fear of getting hit and being called nasty names. The clock clicked. I need to go. It was dark outside, fitting for an early winter morning. This darkness never fully left the houses around here. I took my time tying my shoes, but buttoning up the puffy down jacket, trying to delay my unpleasant exit into the semi-dark, into the unnerving unknown. I rubbed my glasses for good luck, though I couldn't remember a single time these thick pieces of glasses brought me any good fortune. The sky was akin to a giant bruise. On the east side of it, a black cloud was swelling up. It licked up stars from the sky and extinguished the rising sun. Darkness was plastered all over the treetops. The cautious cries of birds got tangled up in the thicket. Tricket. I think it was Tricket. I locked the front door with a long key that I wore around my neck. My parents made me wear the noose, afraid that I, being a total klutz that I am, could lose the key otherwise. Okay, the wind whizzed on the other side of the gate and invited me into my new life toward dubious adventures, and tagged along like an old buddy, pushing me in the back. Wide shadows that pines throughout covered a third of the clearing. Upon reaching the edge of the forest, I hit my nose in the coat's collar. I was squeezing through the thin fire break, my hair ruffled up and my back hunched over. Tall trees stood on both sides of the tiny trail. The snowy blanket rustled under my feet, and a canopy of entwined branches above my head cut me off from the already sparse starlight. The night had no plans of moving away from the forest. In this darkness, trees reminded me of shaggy old women that smelled of burial earth. Their trunks turned into cracked, wrinkled faces with holes in the middle as their mouths. If I lost focus even for a moment, mold-covered witches would drag me into the forest's depths. Then my parents would be walking around these parks screaming my name. But the dead can't answer the living. Can they? A sense of panic was growing in my chest. I was fine with Dad carrying me into the school in his hands, but now it saved me from watching the darkness rise up in... Hold on. I was fine with Dad carrying me into the school in his hands by now, if it saved me from watching the darkness rise up in the ravens. The ravens like black dough. It felt like someone jumped into the bushes behind me, so I turned around. As soon as I started walking faster, I heard the snow squeak behind me. DeForest took a deep breath with his giant lungs. The windfall cracked. The wind and the birds were left behind in the field. Now I could only hear the forest creak. I walked, listened closely, and the unseen presence grew stronger. As if someone was following me, trying to match the pace of my footsteps. I turned my head so fast it made my neck crunch. A trail behind me disappeared into the darkness. Tree branches overlapped, forming a natural tunnel. Who's there? The question escaped my lips and dissolved into the unending creaking sound of the wooden idols, the pines around me. Why did I think going through the forest alone was a good idea? Yeah, you think? I'm either going mad, or someone had intentionally lured me away from home. Distant lights granted me a smidgen of hope. A country road. I ran there as fast as I could, as if afraid that the trail would shrink. Clawed hands would grip me by the shoulders, turn me around and make me look at the faces of hungry forest denizens? Okay. In the end, nobody stopped me. I almost flew to the decrepit wooden bridge, disbelieving my luck. The bridge's supports bathed in the spring, tarry and ice cold. I put my hands on my knees and looked up at the forest. They snorted, trying to calm my breathing. The tricket was pretending to be asleep. It looked peaceful, lifeless. The remaining part of my commute led through a snow-laden road, illuminated by sparse lamplights. I chased away bad thoughts and ran as fast as I could, from one circle of light to another, seeking protection from electrical lamps. Just like in that game, where you need to be the first to proclaim, I'm protected. So guys, there's also one thing about this game I mentioned the first time I was playing. Well, the dreaded game crashing when I was talking to you guys. In right here, the glossary. You can't see, I don't know if you guys can see my cruiser or not, but there's an information icon at the bottom that throbs every time a word pops up that is like highlighted or underlined in like the dialogue. And basically I'm going to make it a point that every time that happens I'll pull it up so we can see what it wants to tell us. So everyone has played tag at one point in life, so we all know that when he's talking about the game, he's clearly talking about tag. So a kid's game where one player needs to tag other players by touching them with their hand, making them it. In certain zones, normally called the goal, the ghoul, players can stay safe from tagging. Okay. It's just in this case that protection was flimsy at best, with darkness withering outside its bounds. Okay, this is when the game gets kind of weird. Then I noticed something remarkably eerie. In a place where the light from an inclined lamp couldn't reach, a hairy, crooked shadow came alive with a guttural roar. It almost felt like its features deterred light, its unnatural pose instilled fear. My eyes almost popped out of their sockets as I just stood there, blinking, trying to chase away that illusion. Okay, bro, just smacking. Okay. But the shadow didn't disappear and even got closer. My insides were pricked by horror. I stepped back and almost fell into a snow pile. The black silhouette, on the other hand, straightened up and addressed me in a sweet voice. Sneaking around, huh? Trying to steal my soul? Words got stuck in my throat. Who could be talking in such a silky voice here between the forest and a dormant village? Will you say something, dummy? Cat got your tongue. Alright, I'll bite off your nose. That'll teach you not to poke it in places it doesn't belong. A girl stood before me, judging from the voice and the silhouette and my camera. Alright. But I couldn't even reprimand myself for getting scared by a girl before noticing a gaping mouth under her hood with something dangerously shining inside. I was stunned. From the cavity of her hood, a frighteningly real fox face was staring straight at me. It's just her jaws weren't moving and her eyes weren't blinking. A mask! It's just a girl with a fox mask on. At least I wanted to think that. After a surprise like that, a nervous smile involuntarily crept onto my face. I was just going to school, and then you. What about me? Never seen a fox feed a dog? And indeed, there was a small dog circling the girl's legs. One of the strays that were chasing me yesterday, probably. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to. After hearing my voice, the dog whimpered, lowered his ears, sniffed me out, and then started wagging his tail. I guess I still smelled the bologna that I ate for breakfast. I was shifting my gaze back and forth from the dog to the girl. She didn't seem scared anymore, just weird. So you didn't mean to, huh? What's your name? I'm Anton. And you? And I'm not. And then she laughs. She's weird. Definitely has a couple of loose screws. But she has a nice voice. My astonishment has turned into a mix of happiness and relief. This girl I did know was definitely human, if a bit in stature. Now, I want you guys to notice something. This is what I noticed when I was first playing this. Her eyes become visible, like human eyes, as if she's wearing a mask, when she starts talking like normal. And then it's weird because then when it starts to get like really tense moments, the eyes disappear. And I said that when I first noticed that, and I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on here? So I'm just gonna wait until we get to the end part of it, and then I'm gonna tell you guys what I really feel about this situation, and we'll go from there. I was also a bit angry at myself. This foxy girl was walking through the darkness without problem, and I shuddered from every little sound. I could just walk away, but this girl had piqued my interest. The next time a police officer asks me about my friends at the new place, I'll tell him that I befriended a talking fox. Do you live around here? In the village? The fox giggled and purred. She spun around so hard the hem of her coat lifted up. No, dummy. Foxes don't live in villages. So you live in the forest then? Have you been living under a rock? It's obvious that foxes can't survive anywhere near humans, as long as they're foxes. Her jokes were also weird, just like her carnival mask, paper mache with fur glued onto it. A dog reminded us of his existence with a loud bark. I unfastened my backpack. Dad would sometimes throw food in there without my knowledge, cookies, apples, or even my favorite crab sticks. He called it a gift from the bunny. Alright guys, see how the words underlined, see how my information is like throbbing here? Okay, treat from the bunny. The uneaten part of a business lunch or a treat specifically bought for children. Parents will tell their children that a bunny asked them to deliver said treat, but it could also be any other animal, a squirrel or a bear, for example. So basically what it is that the parents, if they got some leftover food and, you know, they, or they just bought something specifically for their kids, they would tell the kids, a rabbit or any other animal told the parents to give this treat to the kids. Is basically what it's saying. A gift from the bunny. The stray strolled toward me with mincing footsteps, with a pleading look in his eyes. The fox did definitely treat it to something, but it was probably still hungry. Why are you dressed like this so early in the morning? Going to a costume party? Okay, guys, see, look, see how the atmosphere changed and her eyes are no longer visible? I'm trying to tell you. The girl shrugged. Okay, throwing silvery snowflakes off her nose, and her human form along with them, turning into a genuine beast. A real fox. Agile, cunning, dangerous. A moment of hesitation, you'd be ripped to shreds. She'll tear you up and gulp you down without breaking a sweat. I couldn't help but just stand there as a stump until I heard her calm, melodic laughter hidden underneath the beastly mask. I wish you could have seen your own mask, sweetie. Did she say sweetie? I got embarrassed, went red up to my hair roots. We've seen a fox in a zoo once when we were there with my dad, but it had patchy fur, was gray and skinny. But this girl was a fiery color and furry, just like in fairy tales. I was still rummaging through my backpack. My fingers that were searching for the dog's treats stumbled upon some soft, crumpled object. You'll see. The real beasts will wake up soon. You should also ask them where they got their human faces. The girl's shadow was dancing in the lamp's light. The dog yapped in agreement. I freaked out and dropped my finding in the snow without getting a proper chance to examine it. Cold wind instantly covered the hole it created with snow. The dog rushed to dig it out, wanting to get its treat. And the fox just snorted. Now I was so embarrassed I wanted to sink through the snow. It was still dark inside of the electric circle. On the contrary, the darkness seemed even more thick. All neighboring houses were sleeping deeply in its inkiness. I did my best to continue the conversation with the real girl I didn't know. So, are you going to school? Oh my, you are a real dummy. Don't you get it? Well, I was trying to be friendly, but she can't stop mocking me. call me a dummy and all. I should have just moved along without paying any attention to this weirdo and her stupid dog. Why are you so mean? Don't answer if you don't want to. It's not like I care. Still, something froze me in place, tugged me toward the dark figure. A mysterious appearance, her voice that was velvety and just languid enough. I was intrigued and excited. I watched her as people watch fires burn. Oh, stop pouting. Look here. Zulka took a liking to you. The dog was digging through snow with sharp movements, snoring loudly. The fox turned around and looked at the windows of a nearby house, at its timbreled front through the white mist. The tip of her fake nose was shining under the lamp's light. And maybe someone else too. I went red again, like a boiled crayfish at this time. Is she talking about herself or someone else? I hoped that the semi-dark would be able to hide my embarrassment from the girl. I cleared my throat before asking. And who's that person? I waited, counting my heartbeat. The fox didn't reply. Her sly stare was scanning the frosty patterns of someone's windows. She was reading them like a glass book. I wonder what she can see in those winter paintings. The stray stopped rummaging through the snow. It ran to me, holding my object in her jaws. A mitten. Could it be the one I found in the forest? What is it doing here? When I looked closer, I realized that it was just my mitten. Maybe Mom stuffed it in there when I was asleep? A certain missing boy immediately came to mind. Hey, do you know anything about Volva? I imagined the scene, silhouettes dancing in a clearing. The dance of the night when Volva had disappeared. A boy who, when found, can provide a big reward and maybe save my family. I remembered my birthday when our parents promised to take me and Olya to Disneyland in Paris. But instead of a long-anticipated gift, they gave me a simple brick game console, visibly embarrassed. I was crying my eyes out back then, demanding to take me to the promised amusement park. That was the first time when Mom and Dad had a big fight. My greediness shattered their relationship. Now, guys, the one thing I want to make it a point before I get to a certain part in this game of why I made my choice was that you know what? I'm gonna wait till I get to that part and then I'll discuss that whole thing. We're pretty close to it, so I don't even have to bother taking this pause to discuss that. We'll just get to that part and I'll explain. If only I could fix everything, gather everybody I love and take them to Disneyland. On the night Volva had disappeared, I think I saw someone looking like you dancing under my window. It couldn't be true, but I felt like her mask became even more sly. The fox was sniffing me out. Oh, that got you worried? For yourself or for someone else? Oh yeah, as soon as I thought about my sister, my chest tightened and cold sweat streamed down my spine. Well then, listen closely, a boy named Anton. This is a big and scary forest. The fox girl stepped forward menacingly. And I'm not his only tenant. The other beasts already know about you. Beware. We'll come again tonight. I shouldn't have talked to this evil in child form, I thought, panicking. When you and your parents will be fast asleep, we'll sneak really close and dance. Macarena! Uh-huh. Hey, Macarena! Look at you, your mouth is agape, and Tosha. He saw me near his window at night. Yeah, right. Are you by any chance a dimwit? Nobody would let me go outside that late. Children go missing here, you know. I touched the plastic frame of my glasses, puzzled by her silly joke. She got me scared to death. Hey, why don't you stop fondling your glasses? I was also nearsighted once. Listen to me and maybe you'll become smarter. Remember what do they call foxes? Cunning? My words seemed to hurt her. Hey, what did you... sorry. Her laughter was akin to the jingle of a pair of silver bells. Just pulling your leg. Of course we're cunning. If you're agile and brave enough to befriend a cunning fox, I'll help look for your vulva. There's a reason why you're doing it, right? I shrugged in reply. Her insight was alarming. I know why children have been swarming our forest recently. Sometimes you can find a lot of interesting stuff there. One day, I saw a huge pile of candy once and I swarmed in it until my jaws cramped. A pile of candy? I couldn't deduce whether she believed in what she was saying from the tone of her voice. I showed her another smile, a fake one this time. Ooh, so wary. Well, what will you say to this then? She held out her hand in a furry mitten. There was an assortment of sweets in her palm. In the city where I used to live, sweets like these were sold at markets or in kiosks. Okay. Kiosks. Small container-type shops selling a wide assortment of products from bubblegum to vodka, clothing, or even home appliances. These types of shops were popular in 90s Russia and more often than not tied to criminal organizations. I saw my favorite bubblegum in a vivid wrapper among the tasty treasure. A familiar name was on it. Turbo. A triangular fox face poked her nose toward me. Take some. My pockets are full of these. Now guys, I want you to know one thing. Don't ever take candy from a stranger. Never. Do not follow my example, y'all. It's just a video game. I'm gonna do it. Okay. And I did make that choice when I first recorded this, so don't worry. I'm not making anything different. I did take it the first time. So, and my camera. Alright. I accepted the treat in catching a whiff of this girl's smell. Fur, fireworks, and citrus. The smell of holidays. My fingers tingled while I was carefully unwrapping the gum. Peachy aroma entered my nostrils and something else. Something unfamiliar, but pleasant. The fruity cube ended up in my mouth. I started moving my molars, chewing the gum. It tasted like your usual Turkish gum, only my tongue went a bit numb. I couldn't believe my luck after opening the insert. Glossary once again. Bubblegum insert games. The type of game where players put bubblegum inserts onto their palm and try to flip it by throwing it in the air. The player who happens to flip one or more inserts claims them as their prize. Those inserts were often considered as collectibles. I looked at a Mercedes-Benz, an extremely rare and hence desirable collector's item from any boy from my previous neighborhood. My heart skipped a beat. I was barely able to tear my eyes off the insert, still stunned. This is... Now do you see what can be found in the forest? Still, I wouldn't go there alone if I were you. You get so flustered over simple bubblegum after all. Imagine what would happen if you found a travel case worth of these. It'll surely blow your mind. Unusual treats. Just like everything else about her. I carefully hid the insert in my bag, as if I was putting a rare butterfly in a can. The fox giggled. This is now how things are supposed to go on a Monday morning. Who are you? I refrained from asking that question. She wouldn't answer anyway, so she'll just lie. I really wanted to see what's behind her mask. I was becoming more and more sure that underneath it wasn't just a simple young girl. What if Volva also found a snow pile with sweets and is now rolling in it? Actually, what if he decided to stay in the forest? He must be so cold without his second mitten then. How did you know that I did... The wind caught her words like smoke from a fire and carried them deep into the darkness, into the creepy thicket. The trees behind me creaked with their bony branches. Or what if something happened to him along the way? Something terrible. The forest reacted to her words, becoming alive. It sniffed me out, perking up its ears just like a curious beast. A fox girl pierced me with her eyes again. Wild beasts? You find that scary? Well, I don't know. He doesn't know. Oh my, have I befriended a dunce? I didn't like being called a dunce, yet being friends with her sounded nice. My grades are good. Really now. Will you come with me, good grades, Anton? We'll find your Volvo and you'll be able to ask him what he found deep in the forest. As long as you're with me, nothing can hurt you in the forest. You'll see. Worms of worry withered in my belly. Better run, whispered my mind. I don't believe you. Do you take me for a liar? You're a fox, ma'am. Whatever, you're just like everybody else. The girl sounded hurt, although I didn't know if she was genuine about it. She turned around as if she had immediately lost all interest in me. The gum felt bitter now. I remember my dad's favorite saying, "Where are your manners, son?" Indeed, this fox was kind to me. Please, don't get mad. Foxes can also be nice, like in fairy tales. I just need to know what kind of fox you are. Her eyes are gone again. The girl giggled, hiding the nose of her mask in her hands. Then follow me into the forest and you'll get to know me. Anton, no. But not right now. Whew! When it gets bright. I mean, your whole body is shaking, you poor thing. I don't want you to get a stroke. Hey, let me accompany you to school. After hearing this, the dog barked in agreement and stopped messing with the mitten. I leaned in, trying to grab the piece of handwear that almost ran away from me. Well, we're going in the same direction. We went toward the school in the last dawn. Here and there, the lights came on in the windows of houses we passed, as if their inhabitants were sending us warning signs. Silhouettes lurked behind curtains, dogs let out occasional barks. Spirals of gray smoke rose from chimneys, TVs bustled, and dishes clanged in kitchens. We watched the village slowly rise from a slumber while carefully treading the snowy wheel trails. I walked in the left one and she took the right one. The dog was following right behind us. I expected the fox to bring us something weird again, but she stayed silent all the way to the school, as if playing with me some game only she was privy to. She would only giggle from time to time when the dog sneezed from the snowflakes that fell on his nose. I was the first to break the silence. So what's your name? Here it comes. Names, names, names. You people always need to put labels on everything. What name would you give to a fox like me? I don't know. But I read from Elisa. Yeah, Elisa the fox. You know what? I don't mind. I'll be Elisa. I couldn't understand if she was joking or not. I turned around as if looking for an answer from the dark sky devoid of dawn. My silent questions were left unanswered. The school's outline was already in our sight. A giant brick box stuck in the endless night. Lights in his windows didn't bode well for me. Trees were guarding the schoolyard. Screams, childish laughter, and someone's whistling tore up the silence. I went here with Mom. We were just moved, and the place looked cozy at the time. Empty corridors, I smelled of polished, puffy snow outside. The second time I came along to get the books and just kept on imagining my peers rolling down the railings, grade schoolers, running to the library, and teachers marching down the corridor with the air of self-importance around her. High schoolers were smoking at the entrance, and track pants and wool caps perched on their foreheads. Their appearance destroyed the last of hopes for a cozy school. Their stingy eyes and the teeth, yellow from nicotine, their smirks, all of it had the same gloomy effect as the cloudy winter morning. Absorbed by my thoughts, I completely forgot about my companion. I'll wait for you at the backyard after school. Near the hanged man. Near what? She just ignored my question. Don't be late. I hesitated. Blowing hot and cold again, Mom always said that when I would have trouble choosing between two options. Thinking about Mom helped me reply, I'm working, people. My gosh! I'm working! I'm going straight home after school. Good job, Anton. Well, Antosha, Alright. Disrespectful. Alright. Well, Antosha, I'm going to let you off the hook. But the others will creep up to you with their smiles and sink their teeth into you. Won't be able to shake them off as easily. Remember my words. Ooh! The fox opened her mouth in a wide yawn. What kind of trick is this? Someone running in the distance called out my name. I instinctively turned around. A huge snowball whizzed past my shoulder and hit the dog. It whimpered and ran toward the spring. The darkness devoured it. A fox girl was also nowhere to be seen. She dissolved into frosty air. Or was she hiding in my shadow? I gulped and swallowed the gum. Ugh! Unlucky. After taking a deep breath, I went toward the school, toward the cutlets and dough, toward the light raining down onto the snow. Let's see what we got here. Okay, yep. Whose nest is this, I wonder? A thieving magpie? Then it probably has all sorts of shiny things in it. Pieces of colorful glass, bottle caps, polished coins, or child races. Okay, there was a fresh-looking Volga parked nearby with one of its front wheels perched up on the ice curb. Black like soot, as if it was straight out of the horror story Dad loved to tell me when we hid in the attic during a thunderstorm. I remember him always wearing a sad smile while mentioning the black car that snatched children. He would say, it looks like a funeral car on the inside, white curtains and all. And it has OSC, or is it DSC? I think that says DSC in his license plate. Do you know what that means? Yep, death to Soviet children. Funny. I was born in the USSR too. Okay. A buzzing crowd of upperclassmen with their winter hats tipped to the side. I better not draw their attention. Weird man standing here. A tall man was standing near the gate, puffing out clouds of smoke into the wind. He didn't look like a teacher. Was he a PE guy, maybe? I carefully studied his face that looked like it was cut from a piece of granite and his hard lip that was holding down a cigarette. He was playing around with car keys and staring back at us. The light from the cigarette was reflected in his eyes that were sitting deep in his eye sockets. I froze in place. The hulking man lazily tore off his eyes from us and walked toward the road. Alright guys, let's go into the school. I could hear muffled voices behind the doors, saw blinking lamps. Darkness crept along the windowsill and it was like the school was drifting in open space like a lonely lost spaceship. After going up to the second floor, I noticed a crowd around a notice board. Everyone was taking part in a lively discussion. I moved closer and took a look at something everyone was interested in through a wall of backpacks. There was a piece of paper with something printed on it, glued to the left of the notice board. Uh-huh. It's your boy, y'all. Okay, Volva Makyukin. Mayukin. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, you guys. Excuse me if I'm wrong. Child missing. Volva Makyukin. That was his name. 10 years old, grade 4, a 4th grader. On that grainy print, Volva looked dead, with a black mouth and dark, empty eye sockets. So he left his home on January the 5th around 1600 and never returned. Was last seen at the bridge over the Smordian River. He was wearing an orange coat with a hood, a black wool cap, a scarf, and mittens with green stripes. Might have had a plastic toy gun on him. Okay. Could it be that the darkness dwelling deep in the forest invaded his pores and mutilated his face? A plastic toy gun couldn't protect him from the whispering branches and the howling wind. Empty eyes of the lost boy pierced through my soul as if pleading. Unable to meet his stare, I turned around and rushed to the window, took a seat on the windowsill. The corridor was slowly filling up with children in groups of few. Nobody paid me any mind. In the darkness of school toilets, child voices were hammering a nursery rhyme. For the fox and for the bear, bunny tasty meals prepare. I turned my head toward them, trying to get a better look at their features, but then my attention was stolen by a loud clicking sound. A female teacher marched down the corridor with her chin raised up high. Her heels were hitting the floor like miniature hooves. A girl was trailing her every step. She was also looking pompous, stopping along the way and whispering some secret in her friend's ear. She was probably a class rep since she was carrying an attendance register book. Ekaterina, take this, please. I think I said that wrong. I moved so fast I didn't even see it properly. The teacher opened the classroom door and a crowd of children swarmed in, screaming and pushing. Out of all of them, a tall, red-headed fat boy caught my attention. His face was full of blisters. He looked like the inside of a pomegranate. A bad feeling risen up the hair on the back of my head. I've seen boys like him before. Oh, my camera. Alright, unsettled eyes, cackling laughter. The girl, who was a smaller copy of the teacher, warned the boy with a wave of her hand and entered the room through the clearing in the crowd. Some other guys stood in the way of the crowd and the redheaded immediately shoved him. Move your legs, moron! The boy flew head first, flailing his hands, trying to keep his balance. The fatso burst out laughing, and a couple of kids joined his nasty cackling. Their laughter sounded like someone was snipping with huge garden scissors. The classroom sucked all the kids in. The corridors stood empty. I wanted to grow roots and stay on the windowsill. Just a handful of lampposts outside were battling the darkness, withering like fluorescent fish in the black ocean. Maybe I can still run away? Go outside, dissolve in the dark? I imagine myself running through snow, how it squeaks under my boots, and how I'm becoming lighter and lighter with every step. Ah! Ooh. Goodness. Oh, the ringer's thrill blew that illusion away. I tore myself in the window with great effort, then took a couple of deep breaths, trying to at least calm down my mad pulse and entered the classroom. The prim teacher looked at me over the frame of her glasses, clearly annoyed. I'm the transfer student. I was told to come here. The snowy forest trail was winding in front of my eyes. The pines rustled, but it didn't sound predatorial anymore. She buried herself in the register and flicked through the pages. Your last name? Petrov. Huh? What are you mumbling there? Say it clearly. Petrov. You're not on the list. She measured me with a long and heavy stare as if trying to see if I was lying. I wanted to sink through the floor. Hazy faces observed all of them from the left. The classroom breathed and snorted in unison, like a living organism, like a dangerous beast. Are you sure? I don't have you in my register. My knees chose the worst time to start shaking, and I felt dizzy. I clutched my fist so hard with my knuckles became white. They told me to come to the classroom 204 to ask for Lila Pavlovan, class 6C. That's what Apparently everyone in the classroom took my words as some sort of joke because they were all laughing. What's wrong with this school? The classroom fell silent. The kids hid their smirks for a better occasion. Why do we hire so many interns? They all know... no. I think that's a typo. They all know how to put lipstick all over their bulging lips, but when it comes to real problems, I have to solve everything. How do they send you here without any proper paperwork? Ugh, we got the same thing happening so many times already. Wait here, I'll be back. After I have a little chat with them. The teacher flew past me, mumbling something to herself in righteous anger, and I was left standing at the center of the classroom. Like a convict in front of a firing squad, I lowered my gaze, feeling the mocking stares from all around the classroom directed at me. They prickled my skin, danced on it like laser sights. Once again, I imagined running far away from this place, fighting the clawing wind, soaring high above the pines in one long jump, with the wind in my back as my only companion. The eyes of my future classmates were asking, this new boy, is he one of us or an outsider? Somebody whispered something and stifled laughter rolled through the classroom. Wipe the board! It was easy to guess who was the main prankster here. Hey! Four Eyes! Are you not only blind but also deaf? I said, wipe the board. My knees weren't the only shaking part of my body anymore. I was trembling from head to toe, and I prayed for the teacher to come back sooner. My prayers were answered by the powers that be. And what should I do with you now? Where will you sit? Oh well, you can sit with Semyon. Semyu, I guess. Oh yeah, Semyon, okay. He's alone anyway. No way! The Faso put his backpack on a seat beside him in defiance, scratched his belly and smirked. Are you back to your old tricks? Should I call your grandma here again? The classroom went silent. And what's she gonna do? I'll be the one to do something if she doesn't. Put away your backpack now. Semyon didn't move a muscle. He started studying the portraits of writers on the wall, looking bored. I needed to do something to resolve this somehow, to save myself. I cleared my throat and continued in a stifled voice that sounded nothing like me. I can sit in the last row. I think there's a free seat. The teacher snorted loudly. She looked at me, then at Semyon, then back at me. Fine. Go there for now. And you, Bobarin, I'll have a talk with you later. Come to me after classes. You'll be on cleaning duty, got it? Semyon forced out a twisted smile. Juicy pimples were growing on the tip of his nose, ripe for the taking. I walked carefully, afraid to stumble and fall, causing another outburst of laughter from everyone. I took my seat at the back at the last table, where I was met with a pile of old posters. The outcasts took their seats and the class was ready to start. Now, this is settled. Let's start the class. Today's theme is traditions of Russian and international literature in Zoshinko's Don't Lie. The Faso turned back to me. His stare informed me of the coming days, weeks, and months of bullying. I've got my eyes on you, said his watery look. Don't look at me. That would have been me. I was trying to tell y'all, man. I was no punk when I was in school, man. Nobody bothered me when I was in school. I let y'all know right from the get-go. I'm not that one you want to go down that road with, man. You want to get crazy? We can get crazy. What you want? After just a couple of periods, I had already noticed a huge yellow spit stain in my notebook. Then at the cafeteria, this Semyon accidentally spilled a glass of compote on me. Oh, my glossary. Compote, a dessert drink brewed from a mix of dried fruit and berries. I'm not gonna lie, guys, that actually sounds really delicious. Like, I wouldn't mind some. And then he flailed his hands around after exiting the toilet so some of the liquid from his hands would get on me. Basically what he's saying that he had piss. Went like this and just got piss all over me. I'm getting mad all over again. Like, I wish you guys had seen me when I first recorded this, man. I was hot. I was like, did you just fling pee on me? Dude, I would have donkey punched you in the back of your head, man. Like, how dare you? Like, that's so disgusting. Like, I'm a germaphobe. Like, I can't handle stuff like that. Like, I mean, that is so animalistic. Like, why would you do that? Like, ugh. Just before the final period for today, Semyon pushed me into a buzzing crowd of girls from our class. They made way, cursing, but I couldn't hold my balance and ended up ramming up my face into the girl I took for the class rep before, right in her chest. Ow! I immediately stepped back, dying from embarrassment. I'm sorry, are you alright? Then she suddenly put her hands on her hips. Will you look at him? Groping me in front of everyone. I'll tell my mom. They'll expel you, you pervert. There was some sort of sadistic pleasure in her eyes as if she was a child who was about to put a light-up match to the chauffeur beetle. I didn't mean to, he pushed me. We all saw that, you know, no blind among us. She stared at my glasses while showing me a creepy smile. I started to fume on the inside, but Semyon's laughter cooled my head. I pushed you? You sure? He swaggered up to me, enveloping me in the smell of sunflower seeds and rotting teeth, and then pushed me to the ground. Like this, huh? What you gonna do now? The bully towered over me as if saying, come on, hit me. Let me see you try. Alright, guys, so we're going to... Now, this is the part that I was telling you about that I wanted to explain something. So, when I was first recording this, with the mindset that I was in, I so badly wanted to fight back because me as a person, as myself, I don't take kindly to people like him, and I definitely do not take kindly to people who think they can do that crap to me, because it's like, I don't know what I said or did to make you think that I was a punk, but you're about to find out the hard way today that it's not how it goes around here. But I had to remember that it's not actually me, that is Anton. And on top of that, Anton has this thing where he's blaming himself for why his parents are fighting, which is terrible because parents should never, if they're gonna fight, you don't do it in front of your kids because start making your kids feel some type of way. It should never be something done where your kids will see it, let alone hear it, because now we got situations like Anton where he thinks he has something to do with it. So I was thinking that if I fight back, of course, when you fight in this school, you know, principals and all that stuff is going to get involved. And I'm thinking, like, maybe the school is going to call Anton's parents. Anton's parents are going to, of course, know about it. And they're going to start fighting. And Anton's going to feel like that it was also his fault. He never should have fought back. Yada, yada, yada. So on and so forth. So, as much as I did not want to hit the endure, I did it anyways because I had to think about the fact that if I did fight back, there was going to be problems. And Anton was probably going to blame himself for that. So, I said... my choice, I said endure. I breathed in loudly, stood up, massaging my temples. Semyon made a mocking face as if asking me wordlessly, and what are you going to do about it? I looked at his red fist that seemed so big to me at the moment and realized if I said even a single word, I'd get hit. And he'll keep on hitting me till I cry, or maybe even that won't stop him, and nobody was going to help me. Sorry, I tripped. What a pathetic squeak. If you could actually burn up from shame, I would have been reduced to cinders by now. Learn how to walk. Blind rat. And Katya is some garbage, bro. Yo, I lowered my eyes and squeezed past Semyon. He showered me with the smell of decaying teeth. Bye-bye, sucker. The Fatso let out a long snort behind my back. My muscles became wooden. I felt him wiping his hand on my back. I continued walking, listening to demeaning smirks from all sides. It was even worse than I expected. I was late to leave the school after classes on purpose. Semyon didn't attend the last period, so I was hopeful. What if he decided to dodge the cleaning duty and ran home, forgetting all about me? This was a relief. I didn't want to meet him in an empty hallway. The smirks of my classmates stood before my eyes like overturned horseshoes. My class had a lot of fun at my expense, but those who missed the show were asking the others to describe my bullying in full detail. I should have just transferred to a school for freaks. I'd be less conspicuous amongst hunchbacks, lame-legged and disfigured. While the other students were leaving the school laughing loudly, I was pretending to skim through my books near a window. I was staring outside, nervous. Semyon was nowhere to be found in the front yard or near the school gate. I didn't really believe I was this lucky, so I decided to be extra cautious and stayed for some more time in the corridor that was gradually getting less crowded. All the bustle had moved to the first floor. Oh, my camera. Alright. There was a skeleton peeking out of the biology classroom. Some jokester put a cat with the American condor on his head. The sound of running water were coming from the bathroom. I was the only person left in the whole school. I'm not alone. A sudden thought came to mind. I remember the missing boy. His portrait was on the notice board near the schedule. I remember his smile. Guys, look at his eyes in a cat's eye, man. They got really dark. Him looking at me, and the fact that he's mostly likely already dead. Hello? I shuddered and turned around. At first, my eyes stumbled upon the black violin case. Then I noticed a girl from my class was holding it. She sat in the first row of the second column. I could swear I caught her looking at me a couple of times, and I was sneaking glances at her myself. Sometimes it just feels nice to look at something pretty. The spring, the sky, or a girl that's not in the crowd that laughs at Semyon's jokes. And she wasn't whispering the dirty laundry of other people to Katya. She spent all the breaks just like me, staying in the classroom and looking in the window or drawing something in her green notebook. Hello! I turned red and pretended I was studying the pattern on the wooden floor. I saw Babarin push you. Are you alright? The bump on my head hurt, but it wasn't all that much uncomfortable. I'm fine. It's nothing. It's definitely not nothing. That idiot can't control himself at all lately. You should have punched him back. Believe me, I wanted to, but it ain't about me. I mumbled in reply. Semyon wasn't like that before. He also transferred here just recently. His grandma told me that it almost felt like he went mad. I started shoving books in my backpack to at least put something in my hands. The girl looked at me with her clear, attentive eyes. Do you live over the river? In that wooden house? Yeah. Must be scary living there. And you also have to cross the forest. I wouldn't be able to do that. I shivered at the mention of the forest. I thought of intertwining branches of a snake-like trail of endless darkness that spread like mold among the crooked trees. So I straight up lied. It's not that scary. What's so scary about it for you? She smiled after a brief pause, as if brushing off a daydream. Well, actually, never mind. My name is Polina, by the way. And I'm Anton. I already know that. Freaking bell. Oh, I have to go to music class. She made a couple of steps and stopped. Amazing. Polina didn't look like those beauties from the magazine posters or the actresses from the movies. But in the flickering light of the ceiling lamps, she looked much more alluring. Can you play anything? My parents brought me a guitar a couple of years ago. I immediately remembered my meager attempts at making music. And, change. We're waiting for change. Soy's song echoed my thoughts and my desire to change something. Oh, my glossary. Victor Soy. I think I'm saying his name right. I'm gonna say Soy for now. A singer and a frontman of a popular Soviet rock band, Kino. that played a mix of new wave and post-punk. Their hit song, Pyramid, is one of the most popular rock tracks of the new Russian era. Died in a car accident. The guitar got lost somewhere, as if refusing to move to the old house near the forest. I think my parents gave it away to someone that needed it more. I don't, sadly. A pity. Oh well, I'll be going. Bye. Her shout was captured by a loud echo. Her shoes also echoed through the school hallways. Bye. I wasn't sure if Paulina heard me. I looked out the window again. Semyon would say while shoving me off the staircase in a way that could break my neck. Or, oops, didn't mean that, after spilling pumpkin on me in the cafeteria. And this kept happening every day. I couldn't relax for a moment because of the string of coincidences. And to my horror, I realized it was only going to get worse and I couldn't do anything about it. I always walked looking down at school and counted down minutes until the classes ended. Only in rare moments when I caught Paulina's look at me, I choked from embarrassment and was ready to fight, but as if to mock me, nothing happened. And then my rage subsided and everything returned to normal. I always went home alone. First I slipped through the village, then over the bridges across the river, and then finally through the forest. Let me save the game, because we are getting dangerously close to the part that my game crashed at. And I do not want to have to go through all that again. Yes, overwrite that, please. Thank you so much. Alright. The road slithered between the trees for around 10 minutes. There were no passerby, only cars slowly crawled past me as if afraid to sink in snow. I tried walking as fast as possible between the branches. White from the snow and black trunks created an illusion of someone wandering the forest. Somebody tall, sneaky, who can turn into a tree or a snow pile, and then, when nobody's looking at them, continue their journey along the road. Yo! Antonshka! My heart nearly stopped. This freaking guy. From the darkness behind the pines, just like cavemen from their cave, appeared smirking Semyon with a bunch of his cronies. And who do we have here? Check out this four-eyes freak, eh? They surrounded me like a carnivorous pride, making me step back. The smell of sweat and tobacco attacked my nostrils. The inside of my mouth felt salty, as if I licked a battery. Look at this sucker, guys. He tripped so hard at school that he broke the floor. Who will repair it now? Will you pay for it, wimp? Don't you worry, we'll teach you how to walk right. Semyon brought a sizable stick. The signet rang with some geometric shape carved in it up to my face. In a moment, I'll hit your face so hard, it'll leave a mark for the rest of your life.
Sтой!
Stop! A wheezy whisper left my lips and my head tilted forward, hitting Semyon's fist. Red sparks flew from my eyes. They're going to gang up on me and beat me up. Yasha, give me a hand. Semyon gave me a rough push toward with the slanting eyes, and he tricked me. I fell on a sharp crust of ice and a faster step from my hand, preventing me from getting up. A painful groan escaped my throat. Did you hear him whimper? See, actually, these kids they better watch their mouth, man, or something. I started to lose breath from anger and resentment. The pain was growing. My ear was high and pulsating pain was shooting through it, like it was cut off and a ball of nettle was sewn in its place. Why so silent, Antoshka? Come on, tell us. Are you an F-word? These freaking people, bro. At this point, I felt pure, unbridled rage. The of my anger. I gotta look that word up, y'all. I gotta find out how that's properly pronounced. Like the Sprouts ink, it rose up from the depths of my mind, filling all my thoughts. Morons! Did you know that my dad is also a... Wow. Some of you bust out laughing. This became the last straw. Fear and anger were grappling inside me like mad dogs. He knows Aikido, got it? And he's a vet. He'll kill the likes of you with his eyes closed. One word for me and he'll... The boy in the tracksuit raised his hand, stopping the torrent of lies, and made a couple of steps forward. Semyon slowly backed off, giving me an opportunity to stand up. It was a surprise for me. Seems like Barbarin wasn't the leader of their gang. In reality, they were all listening to the boy who was looking like a small carnivore with very strong and sharp teeth. Pines were swaying back and forth like stolen guardians. Now, y'all, take this as a lesson. I'm about to teach y'all something. Any kids or young teenagers that's watching this right now, one thing that you guys can absolutely positively benefit from this, what I'm about to tell you, is that when you see or run into a group where clearly it's like a gang or whatever, they just, doing whatever and they seem really rambunctious or whatever, and you got the really loud one of the group, automatically you would assume they was the leader of the group, that everyone was drawn to them. But actually, it's the quiet one. The quiet one is the one that you need to watch the most. 9 times out of 10, it's the quiet one that's running that crap. So, running that show. So, if you run into a group and you notice the loud one, do not always assume that's the leader. It could be the quiet one, honestly. I'm trying to tell you, man, I've seen it plenty of times when I was in middle school and high school. It is usually the quiet one. Did he believe me? Or was he confused by my face twisted with rage? Let me say. My dad also fought in the war. In Afghan. And yours? Mine too. Oh really? And what force did he serve in? I stumbled. Fear crumpled at my rage's throat, and it made it bleed. Oh, fear chomped, excuse me. He's full of crap, Rumka. Sure as crap, eh? Do you think I'm so easy to trick? I can see through all your lies, little... There was a nasty smile on his face now. This didn't bode well for me. Well, you've asked for this. Oh man. Yeah, you're Jack. That's right. Pray that they find your dead body coming spring, eh? If only you stay silent, wouldn't have lost a hair. But effing around with stuff like Afghan, where my dad spent time under fire, on international duty, in freaking Dashet Emargo? Did I say it correctly? Let me see. Dashet Emargo, a desert region in the southern province of Hem and Nimruz in Afghanistan. Its name can be translated to English as Plain of Death. During the conflict in Afghanistan, the Soviet army destroyed countless drug caravans headed to Iran there. Wow. Or Iran. Iran or Iran. Give him a good pounding, Simeon. Oh, wait, was it Simeon or was it... Okay, yeah, it was Simeon, okay. The delinquents closed in on me again. I ended up in front of Simeon. Blood was pumping in my temples. Branches were swaying back and forth as if whispering something, giving me hope. I gritted my teeth, fighting the thought that I looked silly, and took a boxing stance I often saw in the movies. What are you, freaking Mike Tyson? This was my first ever fight. I'll remember it for the rest of my life, if I don't kick the bucket, of course. At the edge of my vision, I noticed the darkness wither again, as if someone was walking back and forth there. I sensed Roma's claws grab my backpack. Give me your crap, Antoshka. I'll get it. It'll get in the way. I was about to refuse, unwilling to cooperate with the... But then he fished a butterfly knife out of his pocket. Oh, wow. With one smooth motion, spun it as if showing off, and put the blade to my neck. My freaking camera. Goodness. Oh, he know what he doing. Hey, butterfly knives are not easy. I used to train with one. We had a butterfly, it was a bottle opener. And it functioned like a butterfly knife, and every time we tried to practice with that, I can't tell you how many times we all smacked our knuckles. My dad was the only one who could do it, of course, but everyone else, yeah, let's just say we will not be messing with the actual knife until we mastered the can opener first. Hey, easy, buddy. I can make it painful. I let out a cloud of steam instead of words. Ronka pulled with all his might, and my backpack ended up in his hands. Calm and relaxed. An insidious smile on his face, he looked into my backpack. Are you hiding something from us? Some rat stole my school shoes. Let me see if it was... And what's this? Ronka gave me a dubious smile. So, what do we have here? My text and notebooks fell in snow. He was holding my backpack in one hand and something weird in the other, it looked like. A mask? Where the frick did that come from? Roma lifted it high as if showing this. Okay, guys, I didn't even say the part where my game crashed was where Roma had asked me about what division my Anton's father had fought in. That's when my game crashed. So everything up to that point has been brand new for me. So this is all new. In the twilight, Roma lifted it high as if showing to someone else, to someone in the treetops in the twilight among the trees. An old bunny mask. Long, worn-out ears, barely visible nose and whiskers, mangy fur on the sides. Where did it come from? Who put it there? Semyon laughed. It's way past New Year's, moron. Or are you really a loony? It's not mine! How come it's not? It was in your backpack. Ronka was watching the scene unfold with an evil smile on his face. You know what? Put it on. Why? 'Cause I'm telling you to. You'll hop like a bunny for us. Yeah, come on. And we'll leave you pantless, eh? Anything but this. What if someone from our class will pass by? For example, Paulina. No. Sioma. Put it on him. Biash. Is it Biasha? I think it's Biasha. Biasha rushed to his friend's side and took the worn-out mask from him with a buffoonish howl. Then he passed it to Semyon, who was already rubbing his hands in anticipation. I looked around the pine woods, as if waiting for help, as if the shadows that withered around us would take pity on me and not take my side. Branches looked like arms, twisted at unusual angles. Blackened bark was their charred skin, and the darkness was the smoke they produced. I can't run. Won't get away. They'll catch me. And then... here. It'll fit better this way. What the... man! He hurled a huge ball of spit on the inside of the plastic bunny face and put it close to mine. His spit looked like squashed spider. Ronka's face twisted. He spazzed like a beast, like he wanted to tell Semyon something, but then he suddenly stopped. Semyon was still close by with a disgusting smirk on his face and a terrible smell coming from his mouth. Put it on, fast! Or you're dead. The mask almost looked even more disgusting now, yet, despite everything, I felt like it was a chance for salvation. It could become my second skin, if only I was to put it on, if only my face was to touch its bumpy surface. I'm sure the fur would glitter. The ears would tremble like they're alive. I just need to put it on, and Semyon and his friends will be gone. Forever. Hey, bro. Oh, man! They don't give you another option. I'm not trying to put that on. This got spit on it, yo! Ugh. Oh, my back. Whew. Ooh. Ooh, there it is. Okay, excuse me. I reached out. My hand wasn't shaking anymore. Semyon handed me the mask and let out an evil laugh. The fur felt warm to the touch, just like I expected. I got goosebumps. Electricity flowed through my spine. This is it. My salvation. Oh my gosh, a voice whispered to me from the well of my subconsciousness. Just put it on and nobody will hurt you. The forest froze, gazing at me with cracks in the bark. I acted slowly. I took off my glasses. Got rid of the nasty spit on the paper mache. There was movement inside the bunny face. What? As if something was trying to break out. And I needed to help it. I lifted up the mask and started moving it toward my flaming cheeks. Just like in that movie with Jim Carrey. The mask had power. This mask had strength. Carton touched my skin. Involved my skull, my nose took the shape of my face. Smelled like an animal lair in pine. My lips touched some sort of hard, wavy material. My armor. What? Strangely enough, through the slits of the old carnival mask, I was able to see as good as through my glasses. A trio of boys froze in the clearing. Snowflakes frozen in the air. The trees, whose shadows formed black streams toward me. And a weird silhouette in the early twilight behind the windfall. In all that silence, Semyon nervously whispered, "Hey guys, what's up with him?" I broadened my shoulders. I was going down. My muscles felt like they were made of steel. Invisible plumes of fog flew toward me, breaking off the trees. I was absorbing the force's power with every pore of my body. I smiled underneath the mask. No, I showed my teeth. My fists were itching. My stomach was growling. He's turning! You asked for this. I made a step forward. Semyon carefully stepped toward me as if he was walking on thin ice. A trail from my dreams snaked in front of me again. Endless, alluring, it was beckoning me away from all the problems to the new wonderful world, the world of magic Neverland. I pulled on the zipper, opened my coat, then threw it into the snow with a fast motion. It growled. Felt like something was frantically looking for the exit underneath my skin. I went towards Semyon. He's turning! Freak! Turning. Into a freaking... Oh, man. I can't believe we fell for that. Into a freaking... Yeah, that got me, man. I ain't gonna... Oh, my gosh. They had me in the first half, I'm not gonna lie. The clearing blew up in hysteric laughter. Fias was clutching his stomach. Roma smirked, shaking his head. Semyon, who was laughing the most out of the three, spat on his knuckles and waved his fist like a club. You're such a moron, Tosha. At first collided with my mask. Their fur didn't dampen the blow at all. There was no power, no magic smoke coming from the pines. I flew toward the bushes and landed on my butt. My vision, bolstered with adrenaline, a moment before, returned to normal. Now that was something. I thought he got on all fours and tear us to bits. Like a carrot. Yo, did you see that, eh? Did you? Does this count as him hopping? This was even better. I sobbed. Oh, poor Anton. The mask had one advantage. If I cried now, nobody would see my tears. What a loony. You belong in a loony house. For animals, eh? Semyon put his knees into the snow pile and ripped his glasses out of my nimble fork. Wait, and ripped the glasses out of my numb fingers. Give my glasses back! I won't make it home! BS! Haven't you heard that bunnies have good sense of smell? So don't worry, just use it. Hippity hop, hippity hop. Semyon shoved the trophy into his pocket and flashed me a toothy grin. Besides, bunnies don't wear glasses. Now scram! I stood up, still wobbly. The trees became a blurry dark wall. 3 bright silhouettes were wobbling around me. There were black spots on them, their eye sockets and mouths, but it looked to me like there was more of them than it should be. I turned to the forest. Semyon's boot came to my rescue, kicking me in the butt and quickening my shameful retreat. Hippity hop, hippity hop. I threw the mask into a ravine out of spite. And then, we got a masquerade as an achievement unlocked. And then zigzagged through the fire break alone in a giant snow-laden world. The trunks around me bent in all directions. The treetops disappeared into the darkness above me. The sky was pushing me down. I wanted to cry, but my eyes were completely dry by now. Only sadness and longing were left. A desire to bury myself under the snow or leave for the Neverland, joining Volva and Senya. I didn't care where to go, just somewhere far away from here. Somewhere very far away. Hey, what's this? Where are your glasses, Anton? Did you lose them? See, How can you be so careless? Do you think I own a money printing press? Yeah, right. You'll be wearing your old glasses until next year. Oya rushed to me. I saw a fox! Oh, the fox. Surprised akin to a shotgun blast. I could only flap my lips in reply. A glass shattered into many little pieces with a loud ting. My mom let it fall from her hands. Her face was pale and her eyes were glued to the ground. This pause, just a split second, felt like an eternity. Then my mom spoke with disappointment. First, it was an owl. Now it's a fox? Will you ever get tired of this? But it's true! She was so fluffy. She stood on her back legs near the hedge just like a person. Oh my gosh, they're talking about the freaking fox I met earlier this morning. The fox called my name, but then Mom came and she fled. There was no fox. Stop making things up. Don't go near her. If it was necessary, I was ready to shake my sister as if she was a doll made of cloth. What's wrong, Tosha? Don't go. You hear me? Mom entered the hallway and gave me a surprised look. I hesitated. Well, a fox will bite you. I remembered fairy tales where foxes used to kidnap children. I imagined Elisa, liberated, carnivorous, running through the night forest with a dangling sack in her hands. It wasn't a real fox. Tell him, Olga. Oh, yeah. She stood on 2 legs and she wore a dress. Oh, my gosh. And she was real. See? Mom showed us a tired smile as if it was the only explanation needed. I also forced myself to smile. My smile was like a thin piece of soap right before it dissolves completely on your palm. But when I was left alone with my sister, I whispered, if you see her again, run. I shut my eyes and threw the vitamins in my mouth, washed them down with... Please, stop driving me mad, please. I was doing my homework on a Friday evening like usual. I had already finished the hard part. There was only my art homework left, my favorite subject. Oh yeah, let's draw. Looks like we got ourselves a 3-horn. I needed to draw some sort of magic piece. Oh. I wanted to draw a dino at first, but my brush reached toward the orange paint all by itself. Oh my gosh! One stroke after another, the picture of a fox started slowly forming on a piece of paper. Yo, as soon as he said orange paint, I knew he was talking about the fox. Oh my gosh. She was almost popping out of the snow white sheet. She stood on her back legs and wore a sly smile. My brush moved again, drawing a fluffy tail. A moment later, it dropped out of my weak hand. After I finished my drawing, I spent a while studying it in surprise, as if I couldn't understand what this red beast came from, where this red beast came from. The longer I looked, the scarier a smile felt. Carnivorous, fake, like the smiles of women from adult magazines that were sold in press kiosks back in the city. An alluring smile that masked deep-seated malice. The fox's eyes turned out red, as if bloodshot. They looked more like bullet holes you see in action movies. I don't remember drawing them this way. I moved away from the table and the lamp's light reflected from the wet paint. The drawing was glossy. It felt like the fox was watching me. Waiting. Anton! Are you deaf? I was just thinking. I'll ask you again. Have you seen your sister? What? She's hiding somewhere again. Something moved under my bed and I froze. Olya's dirty feet peeked out with her finger pressed to her lips. Okay. Olya, I can see you! Get out of there! You're covered in dust! Olya crawled from under the bed and started dusting off her stockings, looking down. Let's go. I'll read you a fairy tale. Keep you company until you fall asleep. I want to sleep with you, not in that room. It's... Mom entered the room. What, the owl again? And what do you think? Olya, it won't come anymore. I chased it away. Olya shook her head in defiance. You didn't. And it will come. I said it'll come every night. It said that it'll come every night. Oh, it talks now? Olya ignored the question and asked with newfound determination. Can I sleep with you? Please? This will be the last time. Didn't you say yesterday was the last time? Olya, you're a big girl now. Why don't let her sleep in my room? I think it was a great idea, but Olya shook her head again. No, I don't want your room. It watches you too. Oh! I felt goosebumps all over my body. Enough! There's no out! You're sleeping in your own room tonight, got it? Mom, please! Please! Mom took Olya's hand and tried to lead her out of my room. Let's go, sweetie. Don't bother your brother. Olya clutched the bed's head with her free hand. Please, please, please. Oh, bro, I'm trying to tell y'all, man. I'm trying to find out who this owl is, man. This owl out here scaring everybody. I don't want to go to it. Mom was tugging Olya toward herself, but she didn't budge. Only the bed's head squeaking in agony. Dad intervened by picking Olya up and carrying her out of the room, despite her desperate protests and pleas. No! Don't take me to it. It's going to watch me again. I've listened to the instruction. Oh, my camera battery died. One second while I changed that.
Мне страшно. Мама, папа, ну последний раз, ну последний, обещаю, честно. Не хочу туда. Пожалуйста, мама. Не отправляйте меня туда. Я с вами хочу.
Okay, alright, cool. Alright. I've listened to them struggling to make my little sister go to bed for a while. In the end, my parents gave up and let Oya sleep with them. But it wasn't surely the last time. But it was surely the last time. Ever. When everybody settled down, I was lying in my room thinking about Oya's words. It's watching you too. Yeah, let's not pretend we didn't hear that, okay? I felt uncomfortable. I barely managed to calm down only after closing the curtains in my room shut. But as soon as I closed my eyes, memories of my day started jumping around in front of me. I was in the middle of the stuffy school corridor. Stuffy school corridor. I could see the literature classroom from here. The faces of dead classical writers on their portraits. The prim and regal pose of our homeroom teacher, Lila Pavlovana. And around that corner was her daughter, Katya, a snitch and a gossip, eagerly waiting for me. Oh, so it's her daughter. Okay. Hey, transfer student. What do you want, Katya? She got on her tippy toes and started swaying while hiding her hands behind her back, and then asked me with a fake smile on her face. Can I ask you something? Why did you get transferred here? I might have told the truth about this to Polina, but Katya would sell it on the market for 3 kopekas? Kopekas. I'll say kopekas. It would be the same as printing all my thoughts and hanging them near Volva's pictures for everyone to see. So I reverted to an answer I knew by heart. It's all because of my parents. Dad has a new job here. My mom. But Katya didn't even listen to me, just rushed toward the perked up ears of her friends, whispered something while stealing glances at me and giggling. Yeah, right. He takes us all for fools. I've heard it's all because of his father. He crossed the road as some big shot and now their family's hiding in our remote little village. That's not true, you're lying. And did you hear of how Bobarin beat him up? Yeah, 'cause you're a liar, and all he could do was look all pathetic and take it. Stop it! You knew he wasn't alone. You know he wasn't alone. And if that wasn't enough, there are rumors that this weirdo carries a bunny mask with him wherever he goes. Who in their right mind would do something like that, huh, girls? I see. Our Antoshka must be truly special. Wasn't he an autist? But what if he's a serial killer? I'm sure you'd be able to find an axe in his backpack if you look hard enough, or something even worse. Yes. Shut up! Look at him scream as if something bit him. His pupils, look how wide they are. I hope he won't go insane and resort to violence again. I mean, there must be a reason his mom always feeds him those pills, right? I just stood there in confusion, trying in vain to understand how she found out about my medicine. And what scared me even more was that possibility that her nonsense had some truth mixed in. Yes, that's right. He's as insane as his little sister. Can you imagine that she has a human-sized owl visit her every night? Yes. But not a single healthy person has seen it. And this simpleton believes her. I said stipulation. What? Can you imagine that? And then I caught a single kind look from the smirking crown. Oh, yep, Polina. How can it be, Anton? Are you unwell? Polina, please listen to me. Yeah, right. Don't listen to this liar, Polinoka. This loser can't even stand up for himself, and he won't be able to defend you if he comes down to it. He'll run away to protect his own skin. Weakling. Paulina slouched as someone kicked her in the stomach and then burst out in tears and fell to the dirty floor, wailing and screaming. Bro, this nightmare is whack! No! Why, Anton, why? I couldn't understand her reaction, but I still rushed to Paulina's side before getting shoved violently by Katya. Get your paws off her, you monster! Rage was building up under the veil of my fear. It Oh snap. It slowly rose from the cloudy mist. I felt my upper lip lift creep up, showing my teeth. The fact that your father beats your mother doesn't give you the right to do the same to girls. Whoa! Hey, lady, oh, wow, that was quite a bold statement, man. My fists became hammers. I couldn't unclench them. Nobody can speak about my family like that. I came to my senses when I already lunged at the angry Katya. Aha! He went nuts! Nuts! Help! Help! Petro went completely insane. At the same moment, the crowd around her became louder and started whistling and roaring. The movement became larger, wider, and shot up toward the ceiling. Turned into a giant black horse, chock full of toothy faces. What in the what? I shrank to a tiny ball of fur and started shaking in fear before the mighty eucalyptus-ridden trunks that belonged to either trees or humans. It was impossible to tell. Oh my god, look at her face! So you finally shown your animal's nature. Coward! Katya's face was twisted with jubilation and ecstasy. Anton! Why? No! Why did you do this to me? Alina screamed while choking on her tears. What is going on, man? He is just an animal! An outsider! A scary flapping of wings came from the forest. A pair of giant white ears descended somewhere from below, and I ducked myself into them. Anton! Anton, please! Wake up! Yeah, get up, man! Jeez! I jumped up, almost falling out of bed. Apparently, I was thrashing around for hours on the sweat-soaked sheets. Oya's scream pulled me out, set me free from the tentacles of fear. Anton! Please! Wake up! Wake up! It took my eyes a while to focus on the silhouette near the window. Oya's voice was distant. My head was still ringing from the fight. Sounds got distorted as if my ears were stuffed with cotton. My sister, as distressed as ever, just kept on repeating the same phrase. The owl! The owl! Please! I'm scared. Her heart poured on my heart like boiling water, but I was almost thankful for the owl's appearance. Otherwise, this scared Oya wouldn't have woken me up. Wait a second, Oya. Want me to read Merzilka for you? What's Merzilka? Merzilka, a Soviet and Russian monthly illustrated magazine for kids. It has been published since 1924. The magazine uses an unidentified yellow creature wearing a scarf and a red beret as a mascot. Writers like Samuel Marshka and Anya Barto contributed to the magazine early in their careers. Ooh, okay. I like how we're getting a nice little history lesson and just learning about Russian culture while we're doing this. This is actually a really interesting game. I really appreciate for that. Give me. I placed my bare heels on the cold floor, felt around for my glasses. Remember, Semyon had his underhanded act inside. Anton, please, please, look! She couldn't tear her eyes off the window as if it was a staring contest. I found the light switch with my hand. The light poured bright light all over me. I got up. My vision fooled me, moving the window closer, only to push it farther the next moment. My sister was just a blurry spot. I took a hesitant step forward. Oh, it's moving, y'all. Oh, yeah. What's there? What happened? Do you want me to open the curtains? No! Please don't! Yeah, man, don't. The owl was there. The voice was coming from behind. The owl... okay. I turned around and froze from terror. Teary-eyed Olya stood in the doorway. Who is that? Who are you talking to right now? Oh my gosh! It was mimicking her voice! She wasn't even talking to me! She stared at me with eyes that were red for crying, with her hands wrapped around her shoulders. Yeah, her voice was nervous as if she was afraid to hear my answer. I was talking to you! Someone who pretended to be you. The ledge outside my windows creaked ominously as if something huge was sitting on top of it. Oh my gosh! And the thing that pretended to be Olya started spreading, changing shape. grow to scary heights under the light of a carnivorous moon. Anton! Please, come closer. Come here. The voice didn't belong to my sister anymore. The thing that was hiding behind my curtains got tired of pretending, make me look like a fool. I pinched myself as hard as I could, hoping that the silhouette near the window was just a continuation of my nightmare, a hallucination brought upon by the cursed house, and those don't bite, do they? The silhouette was towering before me under the veil of mist. I heard Oya's shrill scream when someone had knocked on the window. It came to get us! Another knock. I stepped back into the middle of the room, as if there had existing nooks where I could hide from this horror. Oh my gosh, the sound was sharp, metallic. The lamp started shimmering. Then it suddenly lighted the whole room and went out. Like a candle in the strong wind, the filament inside it snapped with a ringing sound. The darkness that was waiting for that exact moment poured from all the angles and enveloped me. There was also this window left in a whole universe. Moonlight poured through it, painting everything the color of bones that were hewn from a crypt. Oya started squealing and pressed herself into my back, seeking protection. And then an eye, burning with a carnivorous fire, stared at us from the window. Oh my gosh, where are our parents? No, it wasn't trying to break the window, it was toying with us. It just kept on knocking, driving us mad. As if a giant clock was measuring the time left for us, its pendulum swinging above the abyss. Go away! Get out! Shoot! She was screaming in desperation, her hands clutching my arm like a pair of pincers. Anton! Anton! Come closer! I could barely make out a pair of wings that spread out above the black spot. Tell her, Anton. Tell her that I won't be a bad girl anymore. Never, ever. I just wanted to leave. Please. The moonlight suddenly disappeared and the room descended into darkness. We couldn't see the burning eye anymore. I swallowed the stinging lump that was stuck in my throat. I stepped toward the curtains, entranced by the call of this disfigured guest. Oya was standing behind me mumbling, I'll be good, I'll be good, I'll be good. The bleak window was creeping closer. Curtains rustled. Oh, my camera. I reached out to move them aside so I could look my fear in the eye. At that moment, I heard noise coming from our parents' bedroom. I heard that. Without thinking, I pulled the curtain to the side in one swing. Nothing. Though there was something shining on the ledge along the scattered feathers. My glasses. The ones that Semyon took from me. How did they get here? Was that a gift from the gurgling night? Did that owl really bring them here? I looked at the front yard, at the foreboding clearing, at the toothy forest. Not a soul, not a trace of our late night guest. Only one lamppost streaming like a lone watchman among the snowy desert. The dry window frame creaked. I tore away the insulating tape and the strips of glue newspaper. Window insulation. Before plastic windows became widely accessible in Russia, the cracks and frames of wooden windows were filled with cotton or pieces of cloth and sealed with self. Adhesive tape or strips of newspaper soaked in soapy water to conserve heat in winter. Oh, interesting. Opened the window with big trouble. Frost pinned me with his little needles. The paintings on my walls moved from the draft. I touched my glasses, sure they would melt in my hands. But they were real. My brain was scrambling for an explanation. Semyon and his gang just pulled a prank on me, that was it. That's it. A smooth white blanket was glittering under the street lamp just outside our yard. If somebody was to get close to the house to climb the pipe to the ledge of the window, they would surely leave footprints. But there was none. I cautiously took my glasses. My wrist was still intact. Nobody pulled me into the darkness full of restless withering. Why aren't you in bed? I swayed from the surprise and almost fell out of the window. Are you out of your mind? Did it feel hot in here? Do you want to catch a cold? The owl was here. Tosha chased it away. Go to your room immediately and get in your bed. And you. Mom paused, directing her seething eyes at me. She's thinking of a punishment equivalent to my crime. In the end, she just waved her hand, took Oya by the shoulder, and left, throwing gloomy words my way. We'll talk tomorrow. I managed to get the frame back in place with a couple of hits, pressed in the latches with all the strength my fingers could muster. The cold left the room, but the fear was still present. I placed my glasses on my nose and started studying my reflection in the window. It didn't look like a face, more like a death mask, just like the one worn by the boy from the notice board. That night, I was on the verge of joining him there. Oh, snap, bro. A black and white face was staring at me through the clearing between student heads. Oh, and it wasn't Volva. His face was right beside it. I recognized the fat cheeks, the damaged skin. Oh, snap. I knew it, bro. I knew it. Oh, man. Grade 6, he left for school in the morning of January 16th and never returned. His tall, chubby brown hair and gray eyes, was wearing a dark brown sheepskin coat, a beige scarf, a black mink hat, and Alaska boots. Okay. Semyon. Bobarin's photo was printed out and placed under the glass like an exhibit. I cannot talk today. What is going on with me? See, this is crazy. Exhibition piece. There we go. Huh. Oh man, episode 3. On end, the wolf's gray fur will stand. Oh snap, you guys! I knew he was gonna. I knew one of those. I ain't gonna lie, I thought all 3 of those dudes were gonna come up missing, but only Semyon did. Because as soon as we saw the glasses on the windowsill, that right there was the biggest hint we needed that Semyon was a victim, that he definitely got caught. And on top of it, he was in the woods, in the forest. Like, come on now, like, you think you go hard, and it's like, dude, kids are going missing in this forest. Why are you going in the forest? Now look at him. I'm all gonna be honest with you guys, I don't feel bad for Semyon at all, man. What goes around comes around. When you act like that, you cannot sit here and tell me you don't expect some type of punishment. Like, absolutely not. Now, I'm actually quite interested in Roma. Like, I'm trying to see what his character's about. I feel like we might run into him episode 3. Like, I feel like he's gonna be either freaked out about what happened to Semyon, or he's gonna confront us because he's gonna think we have something to do with it. So, those are my 2 guesses. We shall see. Now, this chapter definitely... I was definitely intense, man, for sure. I feel like these chapters are getting more and more intense as they go on, which is good, because keep the energy going. It just makes you want to see more. I'm glad the game didn't crash this time, because I probably would have cried if it did. Like, I don't think I can handle it the second time, but now, for sure, now we got 2 kids missing. The fox girl, she clearly knows where I live. She was standing out from my, you know, and Oya saw her. Let's see, I guess we made a friend. Katya is trash. Can't wait to see what she's gonna pull in chapter 3. The rabbit mask. How did I get into my bag? Why was it in my bag? I'm starting to think like maybe the kids that go missing in the woods are actually turned into the animals that are in there, and they start recruiting other kids. Like, that's what I'm starting to think. Like, maybe that's what's going on. Like, I don't know if those animals in those that was prancing around in that circle, if they're the ones catching kids and killing them, or they're actually the kids themselves who are being controlled by the forest master. What his reasoning for that is, I'm not sure, but those are both my 2 speculations of what I think this story is going. But for sure, this is a wild story, and I am definitely going to have to hit chapter 3 pretty soon. So everyone, with that being said, thank you all for watching. Be sure to strike that like button. Be sure to subscribe to join the Ninja community, and I will see you all in the next video. Oh man, I was not ready for all this stuff happening.